आज 8 मार्च 2022 का दिन है। 8 मार्च 1921 के दिन साहिर लुधियानवी पैदा हुए थे और आज उनकी 101वीं बर्थ एनिवर्सरी है। तो आज उनकी याद में, या कह लीजिए उनकी कंट्रीब्यूशन को याद करने के लिए एक छोटा सा प्रोग्राम पेश कर रहे हैं। एक उर्दू रिसाला हुआ करता था, फन और शख्सियत। उसका साहिर नंबर निकला था 22 जुलाई 1958 में। तो उसमें एक आर्टिकल जो पब्लिश हुआ था वो था ख्वाजा अहमद अब्बास का लिखा हुआ। उसमें उन्होंने लिए लिखा शायर के बारे में, कोई शायर तारुफ का मोहताज हो सकता है, लेकिन उसकी शायरी किसी तारुफ की मोहताज नहीं होनी चाहिए, चाहे वो शायरी दूसरी जुबान में तर्जुमा शुदा ही क्यों ना हो। और मैंने कहीं किसी अखबार में ये पढ़ा था, एक आर्टिकल शाहिर के बारे में। उसमें शाहिर बजुबान खुद एक निदा फाजली से पूछे कि निदा फाजली के पूछे गए सवाल पर अपने बारे में ये कहते हैं। इसको एक्चुअली मैंने इंग्लिश में ट्रांसलेट कर चुकी हूँ, तो ये इंग्लिश में ही मुझे पढ़ना होगा, मेरे पास अब उर्दू में नहीं है ये, मैं उसको इंग्लिश से दोबारा इंग्लिश में उर्दू में ट्रांसलेट नहीं कर पाऊंगी। तो, तो अब मैं इसको इंग्लिश में ही पढ़ती हूँ। आई एम द यंगेस्ट अमंग माई कंटेम्पोरेरीज एक्सेप्ट कैफी कंसिडरिंग माई एज। Faiz, Sardar, Niyaaz, all are my seniors. When Majaz Aahang was published, I was a student in Matric, and at the time of publication of Faiz's collection, I was studying in BA. There are really effects of Faiz in some of my poems. Majaz is more classical, which I like. Maybe it is more impressive in Chaklay. Maybe it is more visible in Chaklay. He must be meaning to say. Every poet is impressed by his senior poets, but there is a difference in vinegar and its effects and its effects. Many of my poems tackle different topics like Taj Mahal, Chakla, garez, khoobsurat mode, etc. No one is 100% and perfect. In Faiz's work, there are more of comparisons. The adjectives in my poems create an atmosphere. The personality of a poet also has an impact on his art and expression. There is an inner circle that subject the vivid representation that takes shape accordingly. By nature, I belong to the middle class. Maybe I have still not managed to declass myself. Years ago, my poems were heard silently among the laborers, but Kaifi would generate more claps. Some people have an opinion that Sahid is more like the college-going boys and girls. Uh, some people have an opinion that Sahir is more liked by the college-going boys and girls. This is poetry of an immature brain. But I do doubt the maturity of brains of the people who think like this. I am product of this very circumstances, and it is natural to be affected by it. But the poetry's subject and their treatment is also bound to change with the age of the poet. As in our times, Hafeez and A'dam were very popular among elderly poets. We used to take part in these Mushaa'ire, recited our poems, which were very well liked by all. Firaaq says this even today, that मुशायरों की टिकट तो साहिर के नाम पर ही बिकते हैं. I know there are very few people who understand Urdu and fewer are interested in it in India. But the revived interest in Urdu poetry, contemporary as well as some poets belonging to the early generation and other literary works, which is raising its head frequently, is heartening. Urdu poetry in itself is a strong statement. It is very important and significant in the 21st century and the new millennia also, as as it was in the 19th and 20th centuries. And Sahir is a big part of this strong statement for his content and creative flexibility. There may be a way of looking at his poetry apart from his roots in leftist ideology. I don't think he died with as strong a sense of his ideology as he began his active poetic life. ये थे साहिर बजुबान खुद निदा फाजली के पूछे गए सवाल के जवाब में। अब आगे की जो प्रेजेंटेशन है वो मैं अंग्रेजी में ही पेश करना बेहतर समझती हूँ, क्योंकि चूंकि मैं सोचती अंग्रेजी में ही हूँ आजकल, इसलिए लिखती भी अंग्रेजी में हूँ। तो जो अंग्रेजी में लिखा हुआ मजमून है उसको मैं उर्दू में करके ट्रांसलेट करके पढ़ने की कोशिश करूंगी, तो इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू बी, मजा नहीं आएगा उसका उतना। तो आगे के जो साहित्य से मुतालिक ही है और उर्दू के मुतालिक है, लेकिन उर्दू में नहीं है, अंग्रेजी में लिखा हुआ मजमून है, तो इंग्लिश में ही कंटिन्यू करूंगी। I'm fascinated by the impact of Allama Iqbal on his poetry. He wrote this in early 40s. ये कूचे ये नीलाम घर दिलकशी के, ये लुटते हुए कारवां जिंदगी के, कहाँ है मुहाफिज खुदी के, सना ख्वाने तकदी से मशरिक कहाँ है. Very few poets have got the use khudi after Iqbal, so immediately after him. In fact, the philosophy of khudi is the inherent identity of Iqbal's literary and poetic work. Here, if Sahir is speaking of khudi, it must be a reference to glorification and pines of the civilizational progress of the Mashriq sung by Iqbal. The question by Sahir is still valid, as it was 80 years ago. The question is much bigger than ever. Exactly when and how much more the personal integrity conscience of each one of us singing praises of cultural, civilizational and religious values are going to go and face this shameful reality is anybody's guess. Allama Iqbal left this world in 1939. For the impressionable youth, a rebellious one like Sahir, the impressive content and the complete logical values in Iqbal's considerable poetic output could have felt like the shackles. So he hits out at the reality of society more in self-defense to stop his own slide into spirituality. He wants to stay in the realms of the material, and spirituality seems like a cave to him with no way out. But it is a fact that he ventured into the cave with a parody too. चीनो अरब हमारा हिंदुस्तान हमारा मुस्लिम है हम वतन है सारा जहां हमारा. This is the famous nazm by Iqbal, which he made a revised version of सारे जहां से अच्छा हिंदुस्तान हमारा, sort of a revised version. He changed, he made a new poem, new poem out of it, bringing it down. Now Sahir, what he does with this शेर, he takes चीनो अरब हमारा हिंदुस्तान हमारा मुस्लिम है हम वतन है सारा जहां हमारा. He brings it down to the basic issues of survival with चीनो अरब हमारा हिंदुस्तान हमारा रहने को घर नहीं है सारा जहां हमारा. One more शेर of Iqbal has inspired a song by Sahir Ludhianvi, that is न तू जमी के लिए है ना आसमां के लिए, जहां है तेरे लिए तू नहीं जहां के लिए. And Sahir has made it न तू जमी के लिए है ना आसमां के लिए, तेरा वजूद है अब सिर्फ दास्तां के लिए. He does satire, demoralize and ridicule the concept of human beings, the supreme creation, and degenerates it. Not that he has any answers to or solutions to the angst expressed in जिन्हें नाज है हिंद पर वो कहाँ है. How the ideology he wore on his sleeve must have been time and again weighed against religiosity and convictions of Iqbal. He challenges Iqbal's concepts and thrives on it. तेरे इश्क की इंतहा चाहता हूँ, तेरी सादगी देख मेरी सादगी देख क्या चाहता हूँ. Again Iqbal, and Sahir Ludhianvi takes this and makes it into a bedbazi song for a film, Tere Pyar Ka Asra Chahta Hoon. It's a famous song available everywhere. And in relation to the saga called Chaklay, I am reproducing a portion of the article Sahir aur Uski Shairi by Kaifi Azmi, originally published in 1948 in Naye Adab Ke Me'mar. इसमें Kaifi Azmi has written this: the hapless and hungry nation, in reverence towards which glorious paeans are sung with closed eyes, houses brothels at every step. Hence, brothels are and are entrenched in Indian literature too. The rank, intensity, hatred, and sincerity with which Sahir has shaken up the Sakhawane Tasdeek Mashriq are simply incomparable. In Chaklay, that is brothels, Sahir's dignity, his soul, and his restlessness of his and the restlessness of his conscience can be seen at the acme of eminence. I get goosebumps when I read this poem. The feelings that might have stimulated him to write it are so intense that here his characteristic melancholy transforms into an overwhelming deluge. This para is sourced from ये उन दिनों की बात है, selected and translated by Yasir Abbasi. This is a book by Yasir Abbasi. One wonders if Sahir ever gave a thought to Rafi Saab's rendition of the songs of Pyasa, as he got into a controversy over credit and remuneration. It is 40 years since both of them, both Rafi Saab and Sahir Ludhianvi, have left this temporary abode called life. We are into 101st year of Sahir and no closer to finding the reply to his call. सना ख्वान तकदीर से मशरिक को लाओ, सना ख्वान तकदीर से मशरिक कहाँ है? I wonder if any literary work of this world or any research paper is there that offers solutions, shows the way out of this socio-economic problem. But it is a sad state of affairs that this civilization has ceased to view this as a degenerating parasite of a problem in society. It exists only in Sahir's poetry as an issue.